Okay, and we are live. I'm sure we'll get a couple of girls tuning in. Um, Today, hello girls. I'm assuming that we'll get some logging in soon. I think Jade's there waiting in the wings somewhere. Hello, Jade, if you're there. Somebody let us know in the chat that you can hear us and, well, hear me so far. You'll hear Lisa soon. And we are on session number, I don't know, I've lost track. I'm not very good on details sometimes. I think it's number 9 of 35 sessions which we have planned here on the Lunchtime Live series, Community Connection here at Sequins and Sand, every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 12 o'clock. And I really feel like it's a Friday today. It's like, hello, Friday. I think I'm finally into my new routine, and some days are feeling like they are a little bit different to the others. So I hope you're finding that too, and that you've settled into your new routine. I know school's been a big change this week. We're getting used to all that as well, but I hope you're doing okay. And welcome. Thank you for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. We hope you're getting a lot out of these sessions. So 7 topics, and today's topic is travel. And you've met, if you have been tuning in, this is a lovely Lee from Hello Me. Lee is today going to be talking about a topic that came up last time we caught up, Lee, which was, can you do something on solo travel? So Lee, being the big can-do girl that she is, said, yeah, not a problem. I've done a bit of that. I can talk about that.
I actually had to think whether I'd done it. And I thought, of course.
Tell us a bit about you. Sorry?
I had to think whether I'd done solo travel, and when I thought, of course I do solo travel all the time. But yeah, because there's different areas in solo travel, it just took a minute to think, of course. Here we go. Yeah. That's an easy one.
Yeah. We often know more than what we think we do too. It's quite strange like that.
It is. And particularly as you get older, you're very surprised at times in what you know and what you remember.
Well, you are a wealth of knowledge on this topic, I know. So for the girls who don't know you, can you just spend a minute or so and give us a bit about your background and then lead us into some solo travel?
Hi, everyone. We've been part of the travel industry, not as a travel agent, but as event people for nearly 30 years. So we've been around for a long time. We work a lot with the community, a lot with corporates, and we equally have a favourite little area that we work in called Hello Me Escapes, where we get to travel with the most delightful people and get to take them to amazing escapes where they massaged, doesn't it sound lovely? Massaged every day, degustation dinners every night, wine, company. You can read as much as you like. You can chat as much as you like. So we've been very, very fortunate with our travel experiences.
Yeah.
And so with today's topic, when Anita first mentioned it, and I thought, I'll have to read up about that. And then I thought, because you do forget, and you'll probably find that quite a few of you have actually solo travelled without really thinking of it in that terms. So you could be someone who completely organises it from start to finish and totally independent and head off and do your fantasy trip and come back, and that's fantastic. We find with our escapes, we probably have over 85% of our people attending are in fact solo travellers. So they travel on their own to our escape. They don't know anybody else attending. They have become in contact with one another before we arrive because we've set up a private page that they chat on, which you've also joined them on. But they don't know anyone else, and it still is really daunting. But once they're there, within a few hours, everyone's very settled, very calm. You can equally, actually, what did you find for Shine? Did you have mainly solo travellers that joined you on Shine? Yeah, exactly the same thing.
Complete strangers. And different to what you just said, we didn't set up the private group beforehand, but that retreat was a little bit different to how you run some of yours. But that one was a deep dive for 4 days, complete strangers coming together. A couple I sort of connected because they were coming from the same region and they were flying in at the same time. But yeah, so much admiration for those women who put their total trust in me and the team,
Absolutely.
and also everybody else there. I mean, we had a rigorous, you know, kind of application process as well, which was all important for all that. But yeah, I mean, just taking that leap is so brave. Yeah.
No, and it is something to celebrate. Most of my solo travel has come about as a result of work. So I would be going into a destination, whether it be domestic or international, and have meetings. And then if I've got 2 or 3 or even more days at times up my sleeve, I would just head off and explore the region. And it's just fantastic. And even with solo travel, we all immediately think of international travel. We probably won't think of international travel for a little while. It's probably going to be more domestic travel. But honestly, just being able to go somewhere, even driving from home to explore somewhere that you haven't been before, or if you're at a meeting, hiring a car and just exploring where the meeting has been, gee, there's some fantastic opportunities. And you just forget how great and how easy travel is. So, and if you were going to ask me my number one favourite thing, it would be to be in a hotel room on my own, even just for a night or 2 nights, a bath, wine, and the perfect club sandwich, and I am in heaven. I think I've tried club sandwiches just about everywhere in the world, and I just love it.
I totally agree with you. And it's been a very long time since I've done something like that, let me tell you. But I think particularly when you've, you know, had your family, well, I can only use my point of reference there, but you spend so much time looking after everybody else and spending time with others that even the plane trip or the car trip, you know, with a podcast on or your favourite music on and you're singing it out loud and there's just you in the open road.
It really is good fun.
It is good fun.
So,
it's good for
and, you know, with what we're all going through at the moment, solo travel may in fact become the new norm, or at least something that people intersperse with their family travel or with their group travel, because I think people will be craving just to have some space again and just to do something and just to say hi to yourself again. So who knows? If you're a newbie into solo travel, there's probably a couple of things that you just need to think through on where to start and, you know, why. And one of the things is, if you've ever had a bucket list item, to have that and to plan for it is probably something that's going to get you across the line quite easily, because you're kind of giving yourself permission to finally follow through. And it's something you truly have always wanted to do, and it's never worked because a girlfriend didn't want to go, the family didn't want to go, you didn't have the opportunity or the time up your sleeve. So if there is a particular item or a particular location, then that may well be great and be a kickstart. Otherwise, if you just think, I'm ready, but I just don't know where, probably to start off with, and if we pretend international travel has opened, places as simple as New Zealand can be unbelievable. And New Zealand is one of the easiest destinations to get around, very easy to hire a car as well. It has the most extraordinary kind of activities to do, the scenery, and the people are just so friendly. The food is just so easy.
Food, wine.
Yeah. So honestly, if you just wanted something to just whet your appetite and tip your toe into the water, then New Zealand would be a brilliant opportunity. Otherwise, you kind of need to think through what you're wanting from it. If it's a relaxing holiday, then you're thinking of Fiji, Bali, Thailand, Vietnam. Probably as a newbie, I'd stick to just that one flight. I wouldn't try and put a second flight into it just till you get your bearings, particularly if you're a nervous traveller. And then to choose, I say to choose a destination that speaks English, but there's hardly anywhere now that we go that doesn't, at least someone doesn't understand English somewhere. So that helps a lot. But otherwise, to have some infrastructure in tourism, and although we all think, oh, the tourists, at least when you're going into those destinations, they're very set up and very user-friendly. So you know when you get on that train, where it's going to stop, what's going to be there, and it's just simple. So those things do work. Solo travel doesn't mean you've got to put the backpack on. and you've got to go into a jungle and trek from point A to point B and don't know what you're going to do that night, it just means that you're okay to at least give it a chance. And look, there will be times that it is nerve-wracking. Without a doubt, there are times that you think, oh, what have I done? But if you just, actually those snacks we learnt a couple of weeks ago, just take that deep breath, just, I can do this, clear thinking, and it will come to you. And just ask. Don't ever feel too shy or too intimidated not to just ask those questions. So someone will always be there. And I find whenever I pull out a map, there'll be people in front of me fairly quickly saying, can I help you? And honestly, that has happened in a lot of countries. Sometimes you're a bit hesitant when they say it, but there's always someone willing to help. So the more you plan as a newbie, the more you feel in control. And that's something just to think about. And actually, this might sound odd for someone who's been in travel for so long, but I do a lot of my planning or reading on TripAdvisor. I never book on TripAdvisor, and that's a personal preference. But if you just kind of put in, say if we're even thinking of Bali, and one of our favourite places in Bali is Sanur, put in Sanur, it'll come up with lots of recommendations, and then scroll down and read the comments and the reviews. And they're, apart from being entertaining, there will be negative, there'll be positive, but it'll give you so many tips. And, you know, what people did during that stay that were amazing. And then all you do then is Google that particular activity or that particular hotel and go direct. The other reason I tend to go direct wherever I stay is because you've then got a little bit of a rapport with the property itself. And if your dates change or if something goes wrong, you can just ring them and say, look, I booked here, but can I just move it a day either side? And you're just dealing directly with the people that can make the difference. I find if you go through third parties, you kind of go to the next person, and they tend to say no most times. So, yeah, TripAdvisor, it's a wealth of information. If it's a time waster, but it is good fun. So once you've worked out why and you're going, and actually I was even thinking Europe, if you're in love with museums and art galleries and history, you could spend whatever amount of days you've got traveling throughout Europe, and it's super easy. The Euro Rail is so simple to jump on and off that train system. And it's brilliant. And you can just sit, and a lot of those activities are only a small token to get in, and then you're in your world of your own, and it's totally a solo travel. And in many respects, museums and art galleries are much nicer to go on your own than having someone else there and you think, okay, we'll go in a minute, just one more moment, and etc. It also comes down to the type of accommodation. So I'm fine with hotels, Airbnbs, apartments. I love each of those. If I'm staying for more than 1 or 2, 3 nights, apartments are great because you can just spread out a little bit more. You can do a lot of your own cooking, or even just bring your takeaway back to there and have a lounge room to sit in.
Wash your undies.
Yeah, all those things. You've got a bigger tap, sink to do it in. If you're really social, you might like the hostel type of situation. Now, that might have been me 30 years ago, 40 years ago, probably not me now, but equally people of all ages do use hostels and they love them.
Lee, are there hostels out there now for the older?
I'm sure there is. I've never actually Googled them and looked into it, but I'm sure there probably is. And one of the other things I found is that there is organisations that have got, meet.com, something like that, or meetup.com. And it's not it's not a Tinder. It is something that you are meeting like-minded people and just sharing coffee, going to have a coffee and talk and have some time. So there are ways that you can still meet people, have fun. And the other thing I love doing is, and I suggest particularly newbie, is either book a day trip when you first arrive somewhere to get your bearings. Yeah. Or one of my favourite things is the hop on, hop off bus. Yes. And it's dorky. Gosh, they get you around.
Yeah.
and you've got someone telling you everything about it as you go along. There's a guide. You've got other people around you who are equally interested that you can say, oh, I didn't realize that was there. And they'll, set up a conversation. You can get off when you want to. You can get back on when you want to. And it's fabulous. It's a really easy way to travel. A lot of them
are often free too, aren't they? A lot of them, some of them are free as well. And I know we did this, we were a group as a family, but if you don't want to walk around, walking a city or a place is a great way to get a feel for it. But God, if you can't be, if you have limitations with that, or you need to not be on your feet all day, then that's a great option to get on and off.
And they're everywhere. You hear them coming before you even see them. You hear because of the guide speaking. And here we have it, this next corner. But no, they're fabulous, and they're really easy on your own. You don't need someone else sitting next to you to engage and just to be on that. So do not underestimate the hop on, hop off buses.
Top tip.
Top tip. A couple of other tips, and I've actually sent through to Anita a couple of pages that she will post on her blog, etc. elsewhere, that if we've got time, we'll go through some of them. But once again, be kind on yourself. Like, it's okay to feel nervous. It's okay if you're feeling you truly don't want to go out this on a particular day and you just want to curl up, do it. Even if you just go out and give yourself permission to sit in a square or in a coffee shop and have a coffee and just watch the world go by, at least you've gone out and you're just settling into it. It is perfectly okay. And book, as I said in the last session, book that first night accommodation, book that airport transfer, and just be kind on yourself. Just give yourself that little bit of slack. And it's not just your first couple of nights. Do it at the end of the trip, because at the end you're packing your bag, you've got to get on this train to get to this airport. Even travel the day before and get closer to the airport. Just take the stress out of it. Spend the night in a hotel room with your club sandwich and your wine sitting in a bar. Just do it and really enjoy that last night as much as you kind of enjoyed the very start of your trip. And that's, I think, reasonably important. To go through some of the tips, there's a couple that I've learnt along the way that you just forget, because the one thing is you try to almost be invisible and to not upset anyone, but you do need to learn to say no. You have so many different people offering to take your photo, or somebody who's offering to say, come this way, I've got a shop here, etc. As soon as you feel uncomfortable, just say, no, thanks. Learn how to say no in every language. Learn to put your hand up and just say no. They won't keep hassling once you've been quite definite about it, and you've got the right to do that. And feel proud of yourself that you've taken control of the situation. Don't get caught in situations where, what am I doing? How do I get out of here? So just learn to say no. Always carry a business card of the place you're staying, or have it written on a piece of paper or written in your phone. So if you do get disorientated when you're doing the big city walks or around the town and you think, oh, God, where did I turn and where am I staying? Just show somebody, get a taxi even, and just go back to where you're staying.
There. Especially if language is a barrier as well. It's not.
Yeah. Just show language. Them, and you'll always get back with it, So don't feel worried that you've got that. We spend a lot of time these days saying, oh, we spend far too much time on our phone and on our iPads, etc. But when you're traveling on your own, your phone is your very best friend. It's got all your photos that you've been taking. It's got your information on it. I'd suggest on your phone, in notes or somewhere, you've even got your passport number written down. You've got your phone numbers for the bank, for your credit card. You've just got those key things. You've equally maybe put in the number for the local police or the local whoever helpline of where you're staying. And not that you will need them, but you've got them. And so try and remember, whenever you're in an internet area, just back it up. And so that, because it's nothing more devastating when you drop your phone or you lose your phone and you think, all those photos. it's honestly, it's just back up and just look after your phone. Even put it in one of those foolproof kind of cases now that you can drop it a few, million times and it floats and it's still okay, because it is your best friend when you're traveling. So those, what else? Obviously, be very aware of your surroundings wherever you are. If you get that
security is a big one. Security is a big one, isn't it?
It is. And when you get that feeling, just pop into the closest shop, or the cafe, and just sit and have a coffee or have a wine and just watch it all happen until you settle down. You don't have to keep walking with that feeling. Just there will always be something open. And if there's not, you're probably best not being out at that time when there's nothing open.
In that spot. Yeah, that's right.
Watch your valuables. And, I mean, most of these suggestions are still what you would even do when you're travelling with somebody else. It's just that when you're on your own, there's something that you just concentrate on that little bit more and you're just aware of. It's no biggie, but, just plan and just be organised with it. And check in with someone at home. Being a mum who has had kids travelling, when you don't hear from them, back home, people do worry. And when you're travelling on your own, you will have people back home worrying about you. Just touch base, even if it's on Messenger or WhatsApp just do it. And also it's something that you can do while you're sitting in the cafes. And eating out now in restaurants and cafes on your own is so acceptable. It's so easy. And people don't even look twice at you. They probably almost envy you. You can actually sit there with a book or with your phone and writing a letter or writing a note.
Nice quiet time. Yeah.
So there's lots of opportunities. And honestly, that once you've travelled on your own, you'll feel incredibly powerful. You'll feel incredibly clever and proud of yourself, and you need to value that. And you need to understand, like, I find occasionally when you're traveling, you meet up with people and you think, wow, but you forget they're probably equally thinking, wow, you're traveling on your own. And if it hasn't worked out with a particular group that you've mixed in with, you're never going to have to see them again if you don't want to. You can stay and do as you like. Like, you are totally in control of your time, your energy levels, and what you want to do. Doesn't it sound appealing at the moment when we're all locked in houses?
Absolutely. And I'm thinking so empowering, it's, very empowering. As scary as it is, a very empowering
and the self-development from it. You'll learn so much about yourself and it's great. So it is well worth the try.
I love your tip at the beginning about, it's sort of like that philosophy of taking baby steps, and New Zealand is a great one, or start locally maybe before you venture off further and in into a culture that is a lot more it's very different to our culture here, for example. And then, being aware of other cultures too when you do travel. Not to
with your research, just know what cultures. There'll be some that you have to have your shoulders and your arms covered, and there'll be some that you have to have your head covered. But as long as you've done your planning beforehand, there won't be any surprises with that. You'll know where you, what to expect and what to carry with you. I didn't put this tip down, but it's honestly, if you're traveling on your own, keep your luggage really light. You don't want to be hauling a huge case on your own and hauling it up and down curbs and up and down hills and everything else. If you're on your own, no one's actually going to know what you're wearing any day, so it's fine. You can just wear the same T-shirt and shorts or your jeans or whatever and just put a jacket and a jumper over it. That's it. That's all you need, and a beautiful pair of bathers from Sequins and Sand.
Oh, nice.
All done.
I was thinking too, I travelled a little bit just with my kids on my own, so not exactly, but in a lot of ways, everything was
on your own
responsibility. And to me, that's another form of solo travel too, with the kids on your own. And when we were in one spot for long enough, we were like there for 3 nights or so, I made a point of getting to know the front desk staff, familiar faces, always saying hello. But in a way, I would book some of the day trips and things through the hotel.
Yes.
And again, knowing that in some way they might know that I'm booked on that or we're booked on that, so that if I don't come back or if something does happen, and, I'm always a plan for the worst case kind of person, which isn't always helpful, but that somebody might actually twig and think to
Totally
act.
agree. Yeah. There's a smart traveller app that you can also use,
that's a good one.
Just put what you're doing and when you're doing it in there. And as you book things, you can just pop it in. But, honestly, you do have to have that sixth sense, and that and with kids as well, if you are travelling just with some littlies, and I've equally done that. I can still, if Jade is online, she'll testify to this, that we were travelling and I had to go. Actually, this time we travelled beforehand. It was just with two littlies, and I took them straight. This is in the days before you had the boarding passes properly, and straight to the airport in Brisbane, and then I had to head up to Coolum. I put them on the wrong plane, and it was only when they rang me. I had the people on the plane ring and say, "Look, we've got two children here, but you've got them going to Sydney. I think they're going to Melbourne, aren't they?" And I go, "Oh, really?" And Jade had to organise it, and I think she might have been all of 12 with her little brother. And
Mother of the Year.
And you know what? Little kids that travel early, they know exactly how to fix those things.
Yes,
they learn very quickly when they've got a scatterbrain mum dropping them off in the wrong places.
But it builds their resilience and confidence too. Oh, Jade's saying she doesn't remember. So I think that's Jade's way of saying she was so traumatised that it's been erased from her memory forever.
I'll remind her. She'll actually remember the incident the night before, and then she'll remember straight away.
Well, I'll leave you two to sort that out offline on your own.
We'll have a little discussion later. Jade's probably desperate to do some solo travel at the moment with three little ones permanently at home. So with two twin 4-year-olds and a 7-year-old homeschooling, I think she's probably sitting outside the house while the kids are inside the house.
Oh, Jade, sending you heaps and heaps of patience and love and fortitude and all of that positive stuff. That is hard. That is hard work.
Very hard at the moment. But equally, once we're out of this, it'll be interesting to see what the kids pick up from it. I'm intrigued how much people, I don't know if others have noticed, but even when you're walking anywhere, or we're riding push bikes a bit at the moment, but people have slowed right down even walking. No one's in a rush, because there's nowhere to be in a rush to go unless you're, one of the essential workers or lucky enough to be going out to a job. And you do notice a difference. And even when you're sitting on your own, if you've just kind of found somewhere and you've just sat, someone sits reasonably close to you because they're craving to have a chat. It's a fascinating time.
Yeah, and I'd be curious to know if anybody would like to make a comment on that. When do you think you might be ready to travel again? Like, this is something that I wonder, once we're released from lockdown, are we all going to be, I know we'll be heading for the beach as a family straight away. That's definitely beach time. And we had a small beach holiday planned that I know we will definitely take up when we're out of lockdown. But, when do we think in our minds we will be ready to even contemplate wanting to do
cruising? Actually, saying that, I'm just looking out the front here. I'm fairly sure the Ruby Princess is just coming into view, and I really feel for them. I think they're heading to Manila, and you just think, oh, what a saga. Like, you'd have to change the name of the ship, wouldn't you? Or just scuttle it. I just can't imagine anyone booking Ruby Princess. Pick me.
That's right. That's
gosh,
true.
Had a hard time.
Really hard time. And I wonder when we'll be ready again to entertain it. So I don't know. I think now's a really good time while we are locked down and taking things differently, that we've got time to research and do all that planning. And maybe it is a good time to take that first solo trip that you've been thinking about doing for a while, and you think, okay, well, now I've got a bit more time to plan, or I'll make it a priority because it is important to me. And you can always tune in and get the tips. I'll put them on the website in an article. because I don't think I can.
Excuse the spelling. I did them on a boat yesterday, believe it or not. We're in the middle of selling a boat and I was quickly typing them while I was sitting out at sea.
I'm sure it's perfect. It's all fine. It'll be all good. The girls will love it. They'll enjoy. They'll really appreciate the top tips because you've got some, you know, there's so much to this and you've done so well in getting a lot of really good tips across, Lee. Thank you yet again.
No, thank you.
Lee will be on for one more time, I think, in our series, and I'm very blessed and grateful for the time that she's given us. We're very lucky girls. So with that in mind, if there's something else you'd like Lee to talk about for the next travel topic, which will come around again in about 5 weeks, please let us know, put it in the feed, and we will work on introducing that subject into the next chat with Lee. So put your questions in now, anything you've got, and Lee will go back later and reply to them because we get as much out of these sessions as you can as well. So thank you so much. You've been wonderful again.
Good luck, everybody. I think we've got another 3 or 4 weeks lockdown, so good luck.
Oh,
hopefully
yeah. Well,
only another 3 or 4 weeks.
I'm
and
sure it'll be
tomorrow, because Anzac Day has always been a really powerful family experience for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. So we were talking about it the other night over dinner because, you know, for those who don't know, my husband was in the military for 37 years and we've been married for over 30. And so that's been a huge part of my life, and we never missed one Anzac Day. So it's been a huge part of our life, and we'll be on our driveway at, 5:30 in the morning, tuning into ABC, whoever's doing it, we'll be out there. But yeah, big changes, but the biggest change is not having to get up at 4:30. And so it's a bit of a sleeping
and
for
put
Anzac
makeup
Day for us
on
tomorrow.
Get dressed up and makeup. Yep, that works.
None of that. I'll just be out there with my hat on or whatever and slipping out the back door. But no, very important. Are you going to be doing something? Do you think you'll venture out onto the street?
We're probably, because we're in a high rise, I think everyone's doing balcony and candles.
Balcony, yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
Because where we live, we have the Southport Anzac whatever down in front of us. So in the past years, we're kind of woken with just testing the AV in the morning, and that's when all the dignitaries, and then we've got the old vehicles and the military, etc., parade in front. So that'll be different. And that bugle is so powerful in the morning. Oh, I still get, and the bagpipes, and you just get teary.
I will. Now I'm starting to get emotional thinking about it. I know every year the bugle call is very special. Yes. So, and that was something I said to the family the other night. We need a backup bugle, guys. Like if no one in the street's got an actual bugle, and they said, "Mum, don't be ridiculous. You just tune into the ABC or whatever, and they'll play the bugle and we'll have a backup that way." Okay, we'll take out the speaker because the whole street needs to know that it's on. Yeah.
You need to. So, no, enjoy your morning. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Take care. Happy Friday. Bye.